Hello, everybody. Lori here from Unique in the Creek. Coming to you on this lovely Friday night. Hope everyone is well. I'm just going to pull you guys up here so I can see some comments. Make sure I'm streaming on the right page. We are streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So hello to both. Alrighty, so tonight I'm going to show you a little twist on the Dean Michael petal. It's it's really cool technique I've come up with, and I'm really excited to show you guys. So let me just find you guys. Oh, good, my comments are working. Last night they weren't working. Facebook was really wonky last night, so I don't have to worry about my phone then. Hello. So we are going to have some fun tonight. We're going to do some different stuff. You know me, always thinking way outside the box, like way outside the box. So tonight I'm going to actually be using the small board. You guys know I never use the small board. And the only reason I'm using the small board is because I forgot to bring some large boards home from the warehouse. Hello, first-time watchers. Welcome. Hello, everybody on YouTube. I have it down to the board because this is going to be tutorial style. This is going to be a really cool petal. It's a little bit of a twist on the Dean Michael petal, and it's really cool. So, we've seen a big rage since Stacy Chadwick from Your Front Door did the magnolia flower. We've seen a lot of flowers made with the vein down the middle. Now, I did do it quite a while back. I called it the Barbara petal, and the vein was running on the opposite side of the petal. And I used glue. Now, the only reason I haven't done the Barbara petal since then is because I found the glue got all onto the burlap and I really didn't like it. And I was hot gluing my fingers and it hurt and it was a mess. So I really haven't taught it since. But I've been working on a technique and it's really cool. I finally perfected it. Well, I wouldn't say perfected it, but enough that I can show you guys so you guys can run with the idea. Hello. So you guys can run with the idea. And it's really pretty cool. So, like I said, I'm going to be using the large board. And tonight on the large board, I'm going to be using row 1. I'm going to be doing green. Row 2 and 3 are preloaded. Just the normal holes. I didn't put extra holes or anything. I'm going to be using a light pink. And row 4, I'm going to be using all the holes. So we'll be using shared holes with a darker pink. And I'm going to be making a center. And you guys have probably seen this a lot of times through the craft stores and stuff with this trim. Look at how pretty this trim is. It is little tiny flowers, silk flowers. I need something white to put up against here. Hold on. This trim, I got it on Amazon, okay? But you can find it in any fabric store or any craft store in the fabric department and stuff. It is a silk trim. That probably isn't even making it even worse. So we're fooling around with different centers too, right? Because that makes the flower as well. So there we go. This little trim, thank you for throwing me over the falls, is light pink and dark pink with a little hint of dark green, light green throughout the trim. I'm going to try and make a center using this trim. I think it will look absolutely stunning. I don't know. I've never done one. So we're going to try it out. So this will be my first time. So this is what I'm going to be using for the center. Isn't that pretty? I got it, like I said, I got it on Amazon. It was fairly cheap. All it is a trim. So I don't even know how many yards this is. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't do my homework. I don't know how many yards this is. However, I did paint a half a styrofoam ball. Now, I'm using a 4-inch on this one. You can use a 5-inch. And I'm using the small board. So we're going to cover this with this trim and use the new petal I'm going to show you. So you got a couple things new tonight. And let's see how this turns out, because I have no clue how it will. I do have a backup center. Look at this. Now, guys, if you're watching, this silver bling rope, I have it on the website right now. This is rhinestones, real rhinestones on a rope. It's a plastic PVC roping, and it's actual rhinestones on the rope. That's why it's so sparkly. I have this right now on the website. I have it silver. I have some magenta. I have some yellow. My order did not come in. This is just extras that we had. And I think we have a gold, silver, and some yellow. So check the website before it runs out. But this is a backup center in case my lace or silk floral doesn't work. I think it will work, and then I just put this little brooch on the top here. Not sure if I love it or anything, but I don't know. I thought I'd give it a try. It's very, very blingy. But let's see how it goes. So I'm going to be using poly burlap tonight. The poly burlap that I'm going to be using is light pink, and I do have this. I do have a lot of poly burlap on our website, uniqueinthecreek.com. I'm using the light pink poly burlap, and I'm using the fuchsia poly burlap. Okay, so I'm going to be using these two, and I'm not going to be using a lot of it, so one roll will make 2 of these flowers. So I have heat sealed this mesh. You got your felt, awesome. Let's do the dark pink right now. I've wood burned the mesh 10 by 10. Okay, so if you don't know what wood burn means, I do have a video on my YouTube channel on how to wood burn mesh and how to heat seal mesh. Heat seal is with an impulse sealer. Wood burn is with one of these burners. This is still on. So it's like a pen type thing, and it's really, really hot. So you can see how white it is. Now, if you're burning this, doesn't matter what kind of mesh you're burning, please, please, please wear some kind of respirator. An N95 mask will not do. The particles are too small. Or better yet, just do it outside. You need to do it in a well-ventilated area because you are burning plastic. Okay? You're burning plastic. You don't want to be inhaling any of that into your lungs. All right? So we have a 10 by 10 piece of poly burlap here. I got the fuchsia and the light pink, and I also got this green, white tweed color. Now, I don't have any more of this on the website, but it was the only green I had here at home. So I was hoping to have the olive green, which I thought I had some at home, but I didn't. On the website, there is an olive green, which would look really spectacular with this flower. Hello, everybody. Ordered lots of felt. Oh, I love making the felt flowers. Make sure you spray. Make sure you spray your flowers with your Scotch Guard. Your felt flowers, okay? Sorry, just taking a drink. So, the petal tonight we are going to do, like I said, is a twist on the Dean Michael petal. And it's the petal with the vein down the middle. Do you see that vein running there? Now, all the tutorials I've seen have the vein, you use glue with it. This one I'm going to do tonight, there is no glue involved. However, this is not for the faint of heart. This flower will take a little bit longer than most flowers. I guess it depends if you're fusing mesh and all that stuff. But it has a really, really cute, cool vibe to it. See that vein down the middle? Where else? Hardware stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, anywhere that sells outdoor furniture will have this Scotchgard, okay? Because it is for outdoor furniture. It's water and sun shield with UV protectant, okay? So anywhere that sells outdoor furniture will have this. So we are going to do this petal with the vein down it, and I'm going to show you how we did it. Canadian Tire. That's if you're Canadian. All right, so for the Dean Michael petal, we're going to use Curl Up. Okay, this is Curl Up. So you can see how it kind of rocks back and forth. That's what I call Curl Up. Now, when you're doing this petal, you always want to make sure that your finished edges, so these would be the finished edges. You see how this is the factory edge? That's what I call your finished edges. That you do the petal with your finished edge to the same side all the time. Okay? Yeah, if you turn it around this way, it's the barber petal. Instead, I did not glue anything because the glue, when I did the barber petal, was getting all over my poly burlap and I was burning my fingers and stuff. So I figured out a different way that I could do the vein, and it's pretty cool. So when you do the petal, again, serged edge, curl up. Now, if you look at my petal, I have the finished edge to my left. So my right hand is always my tattoo. So you can see when I'm looking at it, my left is the finished edge. See that finished edge there? So I always want to make sure my petal is always the same way to make sure that your petals all face the same way. So just keep it in mind that you want the petals, all the finished edge on the same side, okay? Which is, there's my finished edge. I'm going to turn my petal into a diamond shape, and my edge is on my left here at the top and my right at the bottom, okay? I have these little sewing clips. Now you can use clothespins, but I am loving these little sewing clips. They were like $6.99 for 100 of them, and they hold the mesh so nicely. For $6.99, you can't beat that on Amazon. I do have a link on my website, uniqueinthecreek.com, for these little clips if you want to buy some. They are like the handiest things ever. Okay, when you are wood burning, you want to make sure you're using a tempered glass board, or like a cookie sheet or something that's not going to burn. And tonight we're also going to be using an iron, a normal clothes iron. I actually had to order this from Amazon because none of our stores were open, and I couldn't find my iron when I moved. So I bought an iron. It even has Amazon on it. Just a cheap iron. I think I paid $15 for it or whatever. So I will call this my craft iron. So we're going to use our piece of mesh, 10 by 10. I'm going to use a piece of parchment paper, not wax paper, parchment paper. Okay, you can buy this at the dollar store as well. I got this big humongous roll at Costco. Actually, it came in 2-pack. We are going to need this in 1 second. So what we're going to do, diamond shape the serge edge on the top and the bottom. I'm going to bring the bottom corner up to the top so you can see that my serged edge is on my right side. And when I look at my petal, my serged edge is on my right side. So again, my tattoo is always my right hand. We're going to bring that right up to the top. Meet the two corners up at the top, and I'm going to clip it just to hold it like that. Thank you for paddling me up the creek. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And now I'm going to flatten it down, and I'm going to make sure my edges somewhat meet. Now, I'm not one to follow the lines when you're doing your heat sealing because I do not have OCD whatsoever. So I may have a little overhang here and there, but nothing that I'm going to, freak out about. Okay, so we have a nice triangle in front of us. The nice thing with poly burlap, it is really soft and nice to work with. However, if you don't heat seal it, it's going to fray like crazy. Okay, so you do want to heat seal it somehow, either wood burn it or with an impulse sealer. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this corner on my left, because I'm right-handed, take the corner of the left, and I'm going to bring it right over and match it up with the corner on the right here. Just like that. I'm going to throw a clip on there just so it stays together. So this is where you would start your Star Trek petal, right? So your Star Trek petal would be right up the middle and bringing these around. And there's your Star Trek petal. We're not doing a Star Trek petal. This is what you have. Okay, so you have your folded edge here, right here, sorry, and your open. And for your Dean Michael petal, we're going to be, and I just confused you all. Okay, sorry about that. I took the corners, brought it over, and then this is the top of the Dean Michael petal. I'm going to squeeze the two together. Now I'm going to do quite a few of these petals, so if you're a little confused right now, don't worry. Okay, this is what I have. Almost like a triangle shaped petal here, okay? Stay with me. Don't let me lose you. Okay, let's do it again with the pink one. Curl up. I have my factory edge at the top and bottom so that when I bring the corner up, the factory edge is to the right side, my tattoo. I'm going to clip the top corner here, and I'm going to gently match the sides here and fold it into this triangle shape. I am then going to take this corner, bring it over, and match up the other corner. I know this is not usual for the Dean Michael petal. We're doing just a little slightly different. All right, I'm taking the top clip off, and then I'm clipping them together. I'm going to take my parchment paper, all right, and I'm going to fold my parchment paper with a crease here. What I'm going to do is take the long part, so there is my serged edge or my factory edge on the right-hand side. I'm going to take the folded edge. See how it's folded and it's open at the bottom here? This folded edge. I'm going to put it right against where I put that crease in my parchment paper. And the edge is running right against the parchment paper here. Now again, this is not for beginners. I would not start out with this petal, but this is more for intermediate advanced. I'm going to take my iron. Now, you want to check your iron before you start making your petals. Check your iron, and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. My iron is in between linen and the maximum. I have it halfway in between. And what I'm going to do is I'm just on the edge here with my iron, pressing down just right on the edge. Now, through the parchment paper, you can see it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can see how it gets dark. Do you see this dark here? That center has fused together, fused the two pieces together. So you just want to run your iron over the edge of that petal. And you can kind of see through it. You see how it's dark there? Now you don't want to melt your poly burlap. You just want to fuse it. And it's got a you can see it's a bit dark on the edge, right? I know I had to buy a new iron because I had no idea where my iron was. So I'm going to just put this to the side and let it cool down. So we've kind of melted the center vein of our petal. Okay. And I'm going to do the light pink. You want to make sure your corner. Again, I'm just going to put it with my parchment paper over top. Take my iron and just run it right along the outside of that petal. And you really can see it through the parchment paper. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can see it. It gets a little bit darker through the parchment paper that you can see. It's kind of melted through there, but it's not melted the poly burlap. Okay. Again, this is for more advanced. Once you have tackled the Dean Michael petal, you can do this petal really easily. Let's do a couple more. All right. So again, we want the top in our diamond shape. We want the top of the serged edge at the top and the bottom so that when I fold this up, there's my edge. And this is for any Dean Michael petal. You always want your factory edges on the top of your petal always facing the same way. It just looks so much neater. You're going to press it down. Take your left. I'm right, like I said, I'm right-handed. Bring this over. And you can use your clothespins. However, these little things are so mighty. And then I just clip it together. And then I make sure this is totally lined up so that when I go to do my seam, it's going to be right down the middle. Okay, so let's do I'm going to make a couple of these and then iron them. And this is like the happening thing these days is these veined petals. Hello, hello, everybody. Thank you. All right, so we got a still. Look at that. My serged edge is, again, always to the right. Well, for this flower, it's to the right. So you just want to make sure it's always going the same way. Flattening it down and make sure my edges are nice and neat. Flip it over. Match up the two corners. Take a little clip. Now, like I said at the beginning, this flower does take work, but the end result is really, really pretty. I'll do a green too, because we're going to put some green on the outside. So bringing up the corners. So like I said, it does do work. You take some work because first you have to heat seal the mesh. And then we're going to iron it. So it does take work. But it's a really cool effect. All right, so again, we got the two corners matched up. I'm taking my little clip. So we're almost making it like an L shaped. And you can see that all my petals, even though they're the different colors, you can see all the serged or finished edges are all going the same way, right? And that's a big thing to pay attention with this petal. Now, you guys won't have to watch me do all the petals. Of course, I've done some already and have them ready to go. So once we have the petals made, we can just whip them onto the wreath board. But I had my Kenny Chesney going on today when I got home from the warehouse. Heat sealing mesh, of course, wearing my respirator, right? Because I'm down in my basement. I didn't go outside, which I could have because today was a beautiful day. And listening to my music and just playing with mesh. Now you can do this with any mesh. I'm using poly burlap for demonstration, but you can do this with any mesh. But keep in mind, you will have to heat seal. No matter what mesh you use for this petal, to make it work out like good, make sure that you heat seal it. All right, now we're going to take our petal, put it against the crease on our parchment paper. Fold your parchment paper over. I know, I love my Kenny Chesney. Whenever I have a rough day at work, I just come into my craft room and put on a little Kenny Chesney. All right, and I'm just running the iron just along the edge. Again, you can kind of see through the paper there. You're not melting your poly burlap. You're kind of melting it, but you're just making the crease a little more defined. Okay. Again, my iron, and practice, try out a few pieces before you start your flower. I have dry heat, so there is no water in my iron, and I have my iron on between linen and max. It's halfway in between the two. Dry heat, okay? All right, let's just continue this. And trust me, if you try to make this, and I'm sure Stacy Chadwick, my friend, will attest, it's much easier doing it like this than trying to do it with hot glue. Hot glue gets everywhere, and you burn your fingers. And make sure you use parchment paper and not wax paper, okay? So I'm just using kind of the edge of the iron and just going along the edge of the petal. Until I can kind of see through that the poly burlap melted a bit. Yeah, I've done it with the glue, and that's why I have not done it again, because I burned myself so bad, and there was a lot of glue all over my poly burlap. But when you do it like this, not only does your Dean Michael petal fuse together kind of and makes it really, really nice, it makes the perfect scene. Okay, so I'm just kind of putting these to the side and let them cool just a sec while I do. Yeah, that's why I said this is not for the faint at heart. But there is those avid wreath flower makers out there that love to do the different. So I'm just showing you the difference and what you can do. and it's easier than the glue. All right, so we're done. Put my iron to the side. So I have some of them already done. And those of you that are doubting, you may change your mind after we get the wreath done because it is really, really pretty. Okay. So let's take our board. Now I pre-made most of my petals. You guys all know I use these little rubber bands, clear elastic bands from the dollar store, from the hair section. You get 500 of them for like $1. So I like to pre-make my petals. So there's my petal with my rubber band at the bottom. And that way I can just plop them all into my wreath. Yeah, I have it between Linen and Max. So now we're going to open the petal. Look at how nice that crease is right down the center of the petal. Right? I'm right-handed, so I always put my petal tip to the left. My crease is already done. I'm going to go 3 this way, so scrunching 3 that way. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to leave that little tip there because we're going to fold that under. And then we're going to go 3 this way. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Fold this back, and now to pre-make your petals, I just put a rubber band on the bottom. Isn't that pretty? Now, you don't have to. You can just stick it right into the zip tie if you're making your wreath as you go. Okay, but because I didn't want to keep you guys too long, I pre-made a whole bunch of my petals. So let's do that one again. Guys, I love these little clips. All right, so like our petal is already fused together, so it looks to be one, it looks as is one piece, right? So it really does, even though it takes a little bit of time, you get a perfect petal. So there's our center vein. 1, 2, 3. You're leaving a little corner. 1, 2, 3, right? Fold it back. And I just put one of these little elastics around it. Look how pretty that is. So your petals are the exact same every time. Now, like I said, you don't have to put your elastic band around. Right? Perfect. You know, not everybody has the patience to do something like this, but it's different in different cells. My iron, I got it at Amazon. I'm going to keep it as my, well, I don't iron anything because all I wear is pull-on pants and t-shirts because that's basically my wardrobe. So I don't iron anything. But I'm going to keep that as a craft iron. I bought it on Amazon for like 19 bucks. Good for me. So I scrunch 3 each way. That way my petal is the same. Yeah, but if you're ironing for crafting, it's different than having to actually iron. Look how nice these petals are. One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And the thing with poly burlap, it is soft. So it is really easy to use. However, it needs some tender loving care. Heat sealing and everything else. I know, an iron. Who would have thunk, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to fold your little corners back and put a band around it. And this is because I'm pre-making my petals. I've already, like I said, I've already preloaded my board. I am using the small board. Row 1, I'm going to be doing green. Row 2 and 3, I'm going to use light pink. And row 4, I'm going to use the fuchsia pink. And I'm going to use all the shared, all the holes. So I'll be using 8 pieces. Now, I do prefer to do these type of flowers on the large board. Yeah, but I ran out of large boards and I'm bringing some home. So small board gets some love tonight. So we can sculpt our petals. Look how perfect that is. Now I did choose the fuchsia in light pink because I did have lots of it in stock because I know some of you may want to try this. Also, my center of these, what I'm going to be using with these little flowers, exactly matches the hot pink and the light pink. So I think it's going to turn out fabulous. My poly burlap is cut 10 by 10. Thanks, Diane DeMillo. I try to be different and come up with really cool and different ideas for you guys. Because like I said, if you're selling wreaths, different definitely sells. Everybody wants to be keeping up with the Joneses on the street, right? So if the Joneses has a really cool flower on their door, everybody else wants that really cool flower. All right, let's start this, putting this together. Once you have your petals done, this gets put together really pretty quick. Okay, so I'm going to do this green petal without, I don't know why my iron is beeping at me, without using the elastic band. You just put it right into the zip tie. All right, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Fold under, and now I'm going to, instead of putting my little rubber band on, I'm going to put the end of my petal right into the zip tie. And you can do your whole wreath like this without using the rubber bands. What you're going to do is you're going to put your petal in about a fingertip length, just a fingertip. Now my fingers are small, so from the zip tie to the end of the poly burlap. Okay, we're going to sculpt it a little bit. And there we go. Now, I have all the rest done. So when you have them done, you just literally have to stick them into your zip tie. Let's move this. We don't need this anymore. So I would not suggest ironing, obviously, on your good cutting mat. Your cutting mat is like a rubber. We don't want our cutting mats melting because they're kind of pricey. So I'm doing 8. I'm doing every other hole on row 1 on the small board. It's actually, this petal is not hard. it's time consuming. So it's not hard at all, especially if you already know how to do the Dean Michael fold. Yeah, I'm doing every other on row 1 of the green. This is actually a green tweed. I wish I had more, but I actually wanted the olive green, which I have on the website, the olive poly burlap, and I didn't bring any home. So this is the only green I had at home, which was a green tweed. So it'll work. All right, so that was 8 green petals. And I'll show you how much green I have left. So guys, I almost have the whole roll left. So there is a lot left on here that you can make quite a few flowers with. All right, so now I'm going to you can take your wire cutters, your little nipper things. What you're going to do is you're going to cut off the zip tie tail, okay, and just throw them in the garbage. I like to use my zip tie gun. It helps with, so it's going to pull your zip tie tail and cut it at the same time. So, and if you do a lot of Unique in the Creek wreaths, we all have these, the zip tie gun. Mine is metal. And this particular one I got on Amazon. So I do have a link on my Lori's Tools. And it's, they're what, 15 bucks maybe? All right, so you could do the same thing on the large board. And I wish I had the large board, but I don't. So the next color I'm going to use is light pink. I'm going to go from dark to light for this flower. Because normally I always go light to dark. I don't know why, so I'm changing it up. So again, stick your petal right into the zip tie. And just go around. Actually, this pink and this green actually look good. Now, the darker green really would have looked better because this light pink would have really popped with the dark green. But this will work. It's all I had. It's all I had at home. Now I'm just popping these in. I will kind of sculpt them once I'm done this row. So you can see how fast it is once you get your petals done. There's no farting around with pipe cleaners and plastic canvas and everything else. Okay, so I'm just kind of opening them up a bit. So this is a really good, especially if you want to do the magnolia petal that Stacy Chadwick did. This is a really good way to do your veins on your petals if you want. And I know the petal, like real flowers, the veins are usually the other way, but this is just giving the flower a little bit of dimension, doing the vein like this. Right? Right. We good? Let's do light pink again. Stick them all in. So this is row 3. Another 8. So I'll stick them in and then I'll sculpt them. This is really the only thing I really like about poly burlap is it actually does what you want it to do. Unlike deco mesh where it goes all over the place, it curls and everything else. Poly burlap kind of behaves itself, and you can sculpt it and make it kind of mold it to what you want it to look like. It would make a gorgeous poinsettia, for sure. Now, if you don't want the veins of your petals facing up, you can face them down and it'll kind of cup it. So it's totally up to you. And then I'll show you how much light pink I have left, because that's the last row of light pink. So I have totally enough to do a whole nother flower with the light pink. So I'm going to cut my zip ties off. Again, you're only putting about a fingertip into the zip tie. Alrighty, we're almost done. Hello, Haley. How are you, doll? I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, let's sculpt these. Oh, I can see what I did wrong right here. Now, I'm going to tell you what I did wrong, although a customer would never know what I did wrong or what you did wrong. Do you see that there's my factory edge here, and there's my factory edge here. I did this one wrong because all the rest are to the right. Now, because I have it on this row, you won't be able to really tell, but that I just wanted to show you guys that I can tell, because normally I put the factory edge over, like here, over the more cut edge. I put the factory edge over that petal, so you don't see the cut edge. But for this one, I can't do that because I have two cut edges together. Just don't tell anybody. Actually, maybe I did that on purpose to show you guys. All right, so now I'm going to do the last row, and normally it's 4 holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to be doing 8 with the dark fuchsia. So I'm going to be using some shared holes. So what I'm going to do is go down 1 hole, up the other. So there's the number 4 right there. Do my zip tie up till I hear a little bit of a zip. We don't want, it's going to be locked, but we want lots of room to work with. And now I'm going to use the same hole, even though there's a zip tie in there. I'm going down and back up. So we're going to do 8 fuchsia petals. Hello, Jackie Blewett. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jackie Blewett. Happy birthday to you. It's my nephew Alex's birthday too. I haven't seen him in a year and a half, even though he only lives 20 minutes from my house, because he lives just outside Buffalo. And we are not allowed to visit yet. So I'll flip this over so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. And you can see the back of the wreath, how nice and neat it is. All right, one more. So I'm doing 8 hot pink. So you can imagine how much dark pink or fuchsia poly burlap I have left. So when you flip it over, this is your back. Nice and neat. And this is row 4. It almost looks like stitching, right? So if there's a blank spot with no zip tie, that means you just missed a zip tie there. Okay? These ones I'm going to use hot pink. So again, doing exactly the same. Putting the end of my petal in there about a fingertip, zip it up. I have a little string there. We'll just cut that string off. And we're going around and we'll sculpt it when we're done. I know, isn't it going to be beautiful? And let's see. I'll show you how much. Oh, I actually have 2 extra light pink. So there is actually more light pink on the poly burlap. I have enough for probably another 2 flowers. So you really don't need a lot. However, I would have preferred to do this on the large board. And the darker green petals. The darker green petals would have made these pop so nicely. Thank you, everybody. And of course I did it in pink because pink's my favorite color. Plus I had a lot of pink in stock. We got a lot of poly burlap in, and I was surprised how much pink was still left. Now me, I buy pink everything. So we did 16 light pink, 8 fuchsia, and 8 green. I did burn these. I definitely did. You always want to burn poly burlap or heat seal because it frays like nobody's business. So I'm tucking each. I'm making sure that the serged edge or the finished edge, factory edge, whatever you want to call it, is always on top of the cut edge side of the next neighboring petal. So they're all to the right. All right, we'll sculpt this nicely, which is just kind of opening them up, pulling the tip to make sure they're facing nicely. Okay, and let's cut these off. Love this? Awesome. If you love it, let's see some hearts. Come on, I worked hard on this. I worked all day and then came home and ironed mesh. Who else can say they came home and ironed, literally ironed mesh? Except for Lori Franklin. Irons mesh. There we go. All done. Isn't that, look how fabulous that is. Oh, I love when we have couch trolls. All right, gone. All right, isn't that beautiful? And look at the back. Come on, really? So let's put I'm just going to use a zip tie for my hanging hole. Just go down one hole, up the other. Close the zip tie just a bit. We're going to cut that edge off, or the tail off, and there's our hanger. I hope you guys can see how pretty this pink is. And guys, look how much we have left. And poly burlap's expensive. So, and I still have a couple petals. Let's make the center. Now this, I'm not too sure about. the center. This is just an idea in my head. Using this trim, we will see how it works. All right, so this is just a 4-inch ball. You can use 5-inch, but I'm going to use 4-inch just because I want to go to bed. So I'm using a small one. And this is the trim we're going to use. Again, it's just a silk trim that you use in fabrics and sewing and stuff. So it's got like the green and it's got light pink and a fuchsia pink. Let's try and make a center with it. And like I said, if all else fails, I have silver bling to go in the center. Just let me shut the iron off. Shut everything off so I don't burn myself. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, I got my hot glue gun on. And I'm going to put, just with my hot glue gun, make a hole with the tip of my hot glue gun into my center of my ball. And this is a half ball. It comes already cut. I have 4-inch, 5-inch, and I think I have 6-inch on the website. They're already cut in half. Here's a 5-inch. I paint them, put a skewer in them first, and then paint them, and then I just stick them wherever to dry. Okay. I painted it pink just so I don't have white showing through. I'm going to fill this little bit of a hole with some glue. I'm going to take the edge of my, and we all know I'm going to burn myself somehow. Let's put some of this down in the center to start it off. Now, hopefully this won't take so long. Yeah, you can buy this trim pretty much anywhere. Now, I'm here in Canada and everything was on a lockdown. So I've had to buy all my crafting, everything, fabric, everything on Amazon. We just opened back up today. So I'm a little excited to go shopping tomorrow. Anyways, I'm going to put a little bit of glue to start us out. Not sure how this is going to work. So I do have those rubber finger thingies. However, they're kind of bulky. So I'm just going to use this skewer. Let's let the glue dry. Oh yeah, wooden skewers, they rock. Dollar store, I always have a pack of wooden skewers somewhere. And this trim is pretty, it's pretty cheap actually. So if this works, we may be on to something. Because look at the colors in it. Well, it's going to take a little more time than normally, but with the skewer, I can move my trim where I want it. So it's kind of going, the flowers are kind of going in between the little green leaves. I'm happy you found me too. Yeah, we're finally coming out of a lockdown. 1.5 months we've been locked down. Now, I'm normally the type that would not do something like this because I have no patience. But I can see it, the end result in my head. So I think it's going to be gorgeous. So I'm going to just be very patient and keep going around with my little trim here. Because I think it's going to look so pretty on that wreath. Okay, burn myself. Wouldn't be the first time. A million times we burn ourselves. Oh, I think it's going to work, my friends. I think it's going to work. So I'm just kind of moving. I want the green showing because we do have green in our in our wreath. And people are going to look at this wreath and say, how the heck did she do that center? Guarantee you. Don't tell them the secret. Hello, everybody. So again, I'm just using my skewer, my barbecue skewer, the pointy end, just kind of guide my little rosette things here. I wish my Mevo was working. Mevo's not cooperating with Facebook and me these days, so that you can see really close up how pretty this is. And it's almost like a puzzle. And the little green and rosettes are fitting together. It's 700 of you watching me glue these rosettes. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching. Especially on a beautiful Friday night. Look how can you guys see that so far? It's going to be so pretty. Yes, this is just trim. It's like a silk trim. I bought it on Amazon. I'm sure you can get it much cheaper at sewing stores or craft stores. And they have all different colors. It's just something I've never used before on a center, and I don't think I've seen anybody use it on a center. So we're just trying something new. But it's kind of cool because they're fitting in like almost like a puzzle as I'm going around the circumference of this half ball. I think it's turning out beautiful too. I can't wait to see it right on the wreath, because the wreath is all these. They're exactly these colors that are in this trim. Now, for us Canadian people, I did buy this on Amazon.ca. And it was not expensive. So my American friends, it'll probably be really cheap. Again, this takes patience, which I have none of. However, when I'm doing a Facebook Live, I seem to find some patience. Plus, I'm hangry. I haven't eaten dinner yet. Hello, hello from Georgetown. Patios are hopping in Windsor. Good to hear. I can't wait to have a beer out on a patio tomorrow. So for anybody that is not familiar with us, I am Lori from Unique in the Creek. I am the inventor and CEO and creative visionary. And I am from Canada. I live in Niagara Falls, Ontario, with my husband and my 3 kids. Well, 2 kids live with me. And we've been on lockdown forever. And we just got released from lockdown, if that's what you want to call it. So, like, Lolly wants to go shopping tomorrow, and the store limit is 15% capacity, which means humongous lineups. We have not been able to buy underwear for almost 2 months. Everybody needs to get in line at Walmart to buy underwear. So I am sure the malls will be absolutely insane tomorrow. And Lolly wants to go shopping. Not happening. Big lineup, that is for sure. Almost done. Thank you for staying with me here. Oh, really, Law? Are you watching my live or something that you came in here?
No, I was in the bathroom.
Oh, you were in the bathroom. Did you hear your name or something?
Mm-hmm. You're not even going shopping tomorrow.
I know I'm not. What time are you going shopping at?
In the morning.
Pardon?
In the morning.
When it first opens?
Yeah, like, I think that's gonna come to me for like 11.
I'm almost done here.
I'm going with Nick, Harry, and Ben.
Oh, the whole family's going?
No, Scott's not going.
Oh, how come?
Because she got her vaccine today.
Oh, she's not feeling good?
Mm-hmm.
Almost done, almost done. I know you guys are dying to see what it looks like on the wreath. Oh, look at, we're almost at the end. Ooh, it's pretty. All right, we're at the end. I'm right at the bottom. Let's just hold this for a second. It is 5 yards for 12. I'm sure you can get it cheaper at the craft stores then. Alrighty. Let's cut some of this off. So I must have bought 5 yards. That's probably what it was sold. So I have enough to do probably another one. However, I only did a 4-inch center. Most times, especially if you're doing a large board, you're going to want to use a 5-inch center. And that would be my toilet flushing. Thanks, Law. All right, so there we got our finished center. I don't know if you guys can actually see the beautiful colors in it. Hopefully you can. It's light pinks and fuchsia, and with the green in it, it's just really, really pretty and different. And I spilt my rubber bands all over the place. Let's put this center on and see how it looks. All right, so I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and a floral pin, which this one is quite long, so I'm going to cut it down a bit with my wire cutters. That's garbage. Now, if you're using 5-inch or 6-inch, you don't really have to cut down your floral pins. These are really, really long. So I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, put my floral pin in there. Now you can, if you want to secure it better, you can put another floral pin. And I'm adding glue. Now I use Gorilla Glue, so it is really, really good glue. And then just put that aside. We're almost done, I promise. And let's take our gorgeous wreath we made. All right, and let's let that glue dry a bit. Look at that. You guys probably can't see that. It's so pretty. Wait, when I take pictures, you'll be able to see it. It matches this wreath absolutely perfectly. That's pretty cool too. This is like a flower thing from Michael's. I think I like that better. Let's see how our bling looks. Our bling. Actually, this bling one is too big, I think. Let's see magenta. I started a magenta over here. I didn't finish it, but what about brown? So there's just like so much you can use for different centers. But I'm going to use this gorgeous one I just made. So I'm going to take one end of my pipe cleaner, just pick a hole, go down it. I'm going to go directly across down the other hole. Pull the pipe cleaners down. Now, if you're using the large board, you have 2 holes right in the center. I gotta fix this small board. Adapt it and put some holes in the center and put extra holes up here, I think. Give it a twist. Oh, why do I have these people that I have to keep blocking? Look how pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this. I love, love, love it. And I usually don't like the small board. Now, if I was doing the large board, I would do the 5-inch center. I would do this one. That's it. Now, you'll be able to see in the pictures better. But this center is so freaking cool. Really cool. So what I'm going to do on the back, we want to keep everything nice and neat and tidy. So once you got your center on, we're going to take the end of the pipe cleaner. We don't want to see any pipe cleaner. We don't want to scratch the door. You're going to put the end of the pipe cleaner back down the hole. This one's a little longer. Back down the hole so there's nothing to scratch anybody's door. I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue, just kind of pump it into the holes there to keep those zip ties there, or that pipe cleaner there. And I'm going to put a sticker right on the back where you can purchase this wreath for anybody that buys it for their friends. So their friends will know where you purchased your wreath. There we go. That is so pretty. And again, let's do a recap of how much poly burlap, because we know Poly burlap is quite expensive. We have almost a full roll. We only used 8 petals. We have enough of the light pink because we used 16 petals for 1 more flower. We have enough of the fuchsia for 2 more flowers. Okay. And then this green, you have enough for probably another 3 flowers. Okay. So you really use a lot less supplies. And you're not using plastic canvas and all kinds of pipe cleaners and silliness to make your flower. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, I really wish I did it on the large board. I like the large, big, huge flowers that you can see from like the space station and everything, but this small little one is cute. And like I said, I only used rows 2 and 3, light pink, row 4, 8 pieces of dark pink, 8 pieces of the green, and my center. Awesome, Karen. I'm glad I could help you. This is a fun flower. If you have time, it's a very different flower. As you can see, I'm not picking off the glue like normally I would be doing if I did this before. So just another way to make a pretty fabulous wreath. Thank you guys all for joining me. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be doing a lot more YouTube videos than Facebook videos in coming up. So make sure you subscribe to that channel because Facebook's just having really a lot of glitches. And nobody got time for all those glitches. So I'm going to be doing a lot more on YouTube. So like I said, make sure you subscribe. Check out our YouTube channel. This will be on the YouTube channel. If you grab a board, if you have the large board, we have the YouTube tutorials categorized. So just check out which board you have and go down the large board, say for instance, large board section, and pick out which wreath you want to make with that large board. And the tutorial is right there for you. All right. Thank you all again all for joining me on this Friday night. And be safe and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I know I will. Can-Am VIPs, I will see you Sunday for 101 mesh tutorial. We are going to have fun. Make sure you have your questions and your notepads because there's going to be a ton of information. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening. Bye, everybody.